Okay, now we're going next to an exercise which is very unique. Okay, most abdominal exercises, when we think of it, anything for working the abdominals, working the core, most of them are done on the floor, right? We look at traditionally crunches, side planks, planks, various movements. Whether you do flutter kicks, they're generally done on the floor. Now, this is one exercise which can help, especially in using the transverse plane. Okay, one very unique exercise can play a good role if it's used right. So, what are we talking about? It's sometimes called the Russian twist. Sometimes people use a medicine ball to do it, but sometimes it's done with a cable. You may call it whatever. It's basically going through a transverse plane. Okay, you are rotating with this. What's the advantage of this? Now, here comes a bit of your knowledge. Let's say if I had to use a medicine ball, hold a medicine ball in my hand, and I'm going to then roll side to side, okay, versus this. Okay, I hold a cable and I rotate. Which one would be more effective for using the obliques? Okay, when I'm wanting to produce power and get strong into, say, let's say you train tennis players and you want their forehand to go strong so that they can rotate and hit. Would this be more effective, or would a medicine ball doing it slow be more effective? Now, this is something you have to think. Okay, if I hold a medicine ball, let me get a medicine ball and do it. So here we have a good medicine ball, decently heavy. I think it's showing around maybe 6 or 9 kilos. Okay, so now if I'm holding this medicine ball right now, which are the muscles which are working? If I twist or if I stand, what's working right now to keep it up? Okay, pretty heavy. What's working is my anterior deltoid. Okay, bicep is working to stabilize it, and I'm holding it here. If I hold it too long, the trapezius will come in, right? So if I'm holding it here, the weight is going down, the muscle that is working to keep it up is working. Very simple, which is that anterior deltoid, your forearms to an extent, bicep. Okay. Post that, whatever I do, whether I shift here, whether I walk with it, okay, which muscles are working? It's exactly the same. If I twist with this, we have to realize it doesn't really do anything for the muscles around here to develop force in this plane. Your strength will be developed in the plane where the weight is in the opposite direction. So if I'm turning here, the resistance has to be in the opposite direction. So I should be feeling a pull of a machine or a cable or maybe a band which is pulling this side, and I'm going against to get strong in this motion. If I'm going to hold a ball which could be this heavy, again to show you, no matter how heavy, or I could be holding something heavier and I do this right now, it is still working only my anterior deltoid. I could do this all day long. My hip is just relaxed. Okay, really doesn't do much. So hope this becomes clear for you. Okay, so you know exactly what the medicine ball does and what it doesn't do. You want to use the medicine ball to do something which goes up. You want to hold it on your chest, do crunches. You want to do maybe eccentric crunches, going down into full sort of extension on a bench, coming up, your choice. But know exactly how resistance works. Now showing you an exercise which directly works that plane, okay, is this. Pretty effective if you've got a good base of endurance of first working in the sagittal plane with crunches, planks and so on, and then when you move to this. Now how to do this? Okay, so I'll be keeping this here, holding it in front of me, elbows bent. A common mistake which is done while doing this, let me take a light weight because I have to demonstrate this quite a few times. So let's say I've held this. Now the trick is, first, get the handle right in front, in between the shoulders. Okay, you don't want this. You don't want extension here, or you don't want this. Okay, it has to be such that if there's no cable, maybe let me show you without the cable. If I'm here, my hands are here in a pistol position. So you've got this here, okay, it's right in front. Now as I turn, okay, if I'm doing this movement, okay, and then this, while keeping my pelvis neutral and stationary, okay, the position of my hands does not change, okay, and this is an important point. Please pay attention to this. so that you know that you're moving your shoulders around 45 degrees from your pelvis, but there is no change here. You don't do this. People often feel that they are moving their shoulders by moving this bar, but what's not changing is this. Okay, you want to engage this and this by shifting. So here's my shoulders in this line, my hips are still stationary. I go here again in this line, hips are stationary, both lines are together, I cross and back. Okay, that's when you get the best engagement from your obliques. You also get the best engagement from your glutes and the adductors which support in this action, especially from the leg which is behind. Okay, so let me show this to you. First, without using hip movement, coordinated hip movement, just using the top, and then second will be with hip. Okay, so if you see this, I get the cable right in front, and now keeping my glutes active tight, it's here. Check how this stays right in front of my chest. At any point you see my hands stay in between my shoulders. At no point does it go like this. You can see what's happening. My shoulders are now where they are. It's my hands moving. You want this here, I'm rotating from the center and then turning. Okay, so again to show you, one, now the next variation of this where you engage the hips as well. Okay, so here I have to obviously pivot on my feet. So to get the feet involved, you turn here, this mimics a bit of action which will happen maybe in tennis or majority of sports where you turn. Okay, what you don't want to do is, don't let the body get out of the line, where from here as you turn, don't let this go here and then come back here. Okay, you want to rotate around an axis which is here and this turn. Okay, so from here, so that becomes the action. Just to show you again, okay, from here straight, if you check my head, hip stays in the same line. This can also be done a bit heavy if you really want to get some power involved. Okay, if the athlete is strong enough and you really want to progress them, then there could be a bit more swing in this. Okay, so it's okay. So this becomes a variation where you can use a bit more heavier weight and sort of do this, with a bit more explosion in the initial phase. Pretty good movement, very different to many other exercises. We will be showing you some exercise in the bodyweight section as well. So those will be different, but comparatively, good move to be done standing. Very different, very unique because you're doing it standing. Unlike other exercises which you are doing lying down. Okay, sport is not played lying down. Okay, so that's where this has a good transfer if it is done at the right time. Ensure that you have good endurance by doing things on the floor such as crunches, planks and so on, and then progress to this. Okay, just so that you have enough stability and you don't want to do a rotational movement too fast with this. Now coming to another exercise which is done with a cable, for which you really need a cable, and this becomes internal and external rotation. Very commonly done sports. We all know rotator cuff group needs these exercises because the rotator cuff often gets injured when people have not trained them too much or the load is too much. So now rotator cuff, there's internal, external rotation that can be done, right? So internal rotation, external rotation, okay, these two. This can be done in different position. One, elbow next to you, 45 degrees, 90 degrees. It can also be done where the elbow is in front. So various positions, depending on the sport you are involved in and the movements you need, you can sort of, use and do things accordingly. We'll be doing something much simpler just to, make sure that there's not too many exercises, but to get an idea. So how this is done, if you're working on your external rotators, okay, external rotators are behind, right, for the rotator cuff group. So here, how do we do it? You get your shoulder blade retracted, important. Engage the core. And then you want to get full range here and back. Okay, so just to show you, retracted, out, back. All the way in, all the way out. All the way in. Okay, so to check, what I've done is I've basically had load here and out. How this would help now, the external rotation. Let's say I'm a left-handed badminton player. If a shot comes on the body, okay, table tennis, to send it back, okay, this is where it would help them. It would of course help them to maintain balance, because the standard pattern is that the internal rotators, the subscapularis is more stronger than the external rotators. So to make sure that they also have some amount of control, especially eccentric control when the arms coming forward post a smash or other actions, that is one reason why this is done. But it's also done to improve performance, especially in backhand strokes, okay? So you want to make sure that it comes here and all the way out. Now what happens if you do it half? Let's say I'm here and I only do this. Am I really getting the range? I'm actually missing out on so much of the range here. What happens if I don't engage my retractors? If I just let go of the scapulae here and I'm doing it? You're not working with the whole body. So while doing this, the standard rule, like in any other exercise, engage the whole body. So to show you again, to do it right, firm grip, okay, neutral pelvis, dig your feet in, core active, retracted, common mistakes made, people instead of getting it out, they get into abduction and think this. So a lot of times people do this and think this is external rotation. You want to think of your elbow fixed here and you want to rotate around an axis. Okay, you want to do this and not just go out. So engaged, out all the way till here. Think of it as if, I sometimes use the example of, you've got a knife and you're carving out an arc. Okay, so one arc this way. Okay, think of it that way, fixed, out, in. Now let's look at internal rotation, okay? Because we've done external with this arm left. Now we're looking at internal rotation with the right arm. How do we do it? Same principle. Legs pushed into the floor, glutes active, core engaged, shoulder blades retracted, okay? 1, 2, 3. This arm can be resting here if you want. If you want to really make these exercises especially effective, over time, start getting into a habit of doing it 1 second and 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. What this will do is, it will work the eccentric portion, whereby if there's a tennis player and the ball connects, so at the end range, they are strong enough to slowly go and maybe take some more impact. Most of the time, where are people weak? Are people weak in the inner range? If you had to lift a weight here, would you be weaker here or would you be weaker here? Standard rule is people are always weaker in the outer range. And if you don't utilize the loading in the outer range, you're actually missing out on a lot of benefits that could come. So work on utilizing the outer range, whereby when the resistance comes to its end range, feel that, okay, let that go slow. Use that, come back slowly. Don't let it be something where you just do half range. Mistakes done here are this. And people think they are doing internal rotation. You're doing half range. You might actually be doing more harm than good, simply because you're only getting strong in the inner range. And someday if you have to do a shot which is from behind, it might actually cause a bit of a damage to that region, simply because you're not used to taking your arm out all the way. Okay, so these are all from practical experience. You also want to get this exercise done quick. Generally, it's a very small group. Sometimes there's no time in the gym. You do it at the end. But if you do it right. Okay. Now, next exercise, one with cables. This is the last one we do. And we have done a tricep movement with dumbbells earlier, right? We have done it overhead. I will show you one which can be done for triceps with a cable. Very efficient movement which can be done exactly while going down. It's nothing but the opposite of your dumbbell bicep curls. What did we do in the dumbbell bicep curls? Here, and we went up, all right, and we went up. This exercise helps you to go the other way. Okay, so we're looking at elbow extension, working triceps. What would happen here is because your elbows are down, okay, the long head of the tricep is not engaged as much because it crosses both joints, right? So you would be pushing down and engaging more of the lateral head and the medial head, okay? So when you're pushing down in this, the elbow stays fixed and the exact opposite of the bicep curl. Pretty good exercise for somebody who's going to, maybe who's just starting off, who doesn't really have much strength in the elbows, okay? So this can become a good exercise for those. For someone who's maybe experienced enough, you can then progress to the overhead with the triceps. But let me show you how this would be done if we use a cable. So I'm going to here use a rope handle rather than the other ones. Why rope handle? It allows me more variation. Okay, I can pull down, I can twist a bit, okay, compared to a fixed handle which just has no other range. Okay. So if you check this, I hold, I do nothing but exactly the opposite of what I did with the bicep curls. Okay, so if I'm here, and if I'm working the triceps now, elbows in, shoulders depressed, it is not this, okay, down, and from here staying under the cable so that the cable doesn't pull here, but rather straight down. Okay, so from here, dig your heels into the ground, core active, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, simple move, very effective. You can isolate the tricep. Again, this extension would come into play in many sports where the end of the action, whether it's cricket, bowling, whether it's tennis, so many sports, you know. The advantage of a rope, it allows you to twist. So you can see I can almost go from a neutral grip to an overhand grip. Okay, so neutral, overhand, neutral, overhand. Okay, it can also be done with a single cable where you can do it one at a time. Okay, it can be done that way as well. So again, a great move. Variations can be done where you can bend down and so on and so forth. But this is another good example of an exercise for beginners. Now, especially for those who cannot do maybe push-ups, you can initially build their strength by using these cables to work on specific muscles here. Then you can maybe get them onto doing some tricep dips. And then with that, you can get them to do some crunches, planks, so on, and then get them to do a push-up along with some shoulder presses. So that over time, you break down that whole movement of a push-up into different aspects. Shoulder presses for deltoid strength, tricep strength here, core strength from crunches, planks, and then get them to be trying a full push-up rather than just forcing them to try a push-up and they just don't seem to be able to go down at all. So this becomes one move. One last movement we'll do is now the lat pull down. And lat pull down plays a very specific role because many people are not able to do a full pull-up, right? They are not able to go up by themselves. So what should they do? They cannot do this movement of a pull-up where they go up, pull, come down. Does it mean that that person should now never attempt pull-ups? So if there's a bar here, if I just have to maybe attempt a pull-up here, now this is the grip I hold, and from here, pull up, down, right? Down. One more. Now, this is a movement maybe for me over years. I've practiced, so I'm able to do, body weight allows me. What happens if I don't have the strength? I just don't have the strength and the coordination to go up. Should I not do it? Now, there is an option, and this is where machines play a role. When you cannot do certain movements, like how I explained about the push-up, okay, how you build up different aspects. You can even do a machine bench press to build a push-up. Same way for this, you can end up doing a lat pull down, okay? And we'll take you to the lat pull down machine to show you how that can be done to work those same muscles through the same range. Only difference here, the bar is up, my body goes up. I have to have that much strength to pull that much body weight up, okay? Around 80 kilos of body weight, you minus the arm weight, but I'm pulling that up. In a lat pull down, my body weight is fixed. I can use lighter weight rather than carrying that much. So I can use probably just 30 kilos, do repetitions, build endurance, and then move on to this. So we have to understand that not all bodyweight exercises are easy, pretty hard, but if you can't do it, then we have an option using machines. So let's move on to the lat pull down machine just to get an idea how you can manipulate some exercises by doing machine exercises first. Along with that, build your core, build your hip strength, and then attempt this. Okay, so let's move on to lat pull downs next.